Hi, I'm Owen Morgan.
And I'm Jules Chandler.
This is the Health Hero Chat Show.
And today we're talking all about thyroid. So, we're going to have a geek off, aren't we?
Yes.
We are going to be talking about all things thyroid and what is happening at a cellular level.
So, yes, when we get into look into the cellular level, it's important to go back into when we were in our mother's womb because we start there after conception, when we have the sperm and the egg, when they combine together, and that first 3 months of development, the first trimester, so we get the nutrients there getting into the cells, into the genetic makeup, into the proteins actually that what make us, so the DNA will code into the proteins to make us who we are, and then for the maintenance. So when we have a variance into our DNA, or we have a particular gene switch on and off, we can impact in the development, for example, of our thyroid gland, and then this will impact on our production of the hormones. That it's not only about thyroid, but also about selenoproteins as well.
All kinds of stuff
combine together to make the hormones that's going to regulate growth, development,
Brain health.
Brain health, very important.
Let me stop you there, because we're talking about genes and DNA, and some people are going to be like, what? And we're talking about, nutrigenomics is such a cool thing. It's about your genes and how they work. And you'll have heard of kind of predisposition diseases, or what you've inherited from your parents.
Exactly.
And that pretty much is nutrigenomics, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the DNA and how we've affected that with the food that we've put into our body. Because if your mum's got thyroid disorder of an autoimmune kind, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to have it.
Exactly.
It means that we have learned as nutritionists is such a bland term, I think, for what we do, but we can switch that off biochemically with certain foods, which is so exciting.
It is very exciting.
So exciting.
And when we come to nutrition and genetics and nutrigenomics, it's understanding how nutrients interact with our genes, and we have loads on that would interact as well, but mainly nutrigenomics. It's if our mother, for example, she is low, she has an underreactive thyroid, for example, or some issues with how our the thyroid gland is working, this actually is going to affect how you're developing nutrients, for example, as iodine, to the child, to the development of the fetus. And then this is going to affect actually which genes we are switching in and off, because if we have the cells there that need the nutrients to come in, the nutrients are not coming in, so
and the hormones aren't being produced.
Exactly.
Because we've got, from that thyroid, so we've got the thyroid gland here, which looks like a little butterfly.
Yes, here.
That produces T4 and T3. T4, people will know, is kind of levothyroxine. That's what you're taking. If you're taking levo, you're taking T4. The bad news is it only converts down to T3, levothyroxine.
Yes.
So we're missing out on T2, which has been shown to help with conversion of T4 to T3. I'll come back to that. And T1 it contains, and T0, and calcitonin, which helps with our calcium levels. So really what's happening is the thyroid's releasing T4 and T3, it gets stored in different tissues in the body. And then when we need that energy, it converts, doesn't it? Converts in the liver.
Exactly.
And that conversion happens with this little enzyme called the D102 enzyme, which genetically cannot be there. Did you know that?
Exactly, yes.
So if you're taking thyroxine and you're not converting it to T3, so you're taking around. It's just sitting around and your thyroxine's going in, but you're still feeling rubbish. You can do D102 gene testing to see if you have that little, it's called a SNP, isn't it? Single nucleotide polymorphism.
It's a nice word.
Oh, darling.
Yes.
See if you've got that DIO2 SNP, because if you're taking levothyroxine and you've got a SNP like that, it means that that gene is not working, so it's not going to convert from T4 to T3, and you're not going to have any energy. You're going to feel rubbish.
So that's then the beauty of how nutrition as a science is growing, and how understanding our body into a molecular level we can actually, because I can tell you, oh, it this, do that, from our knowledge, over knowledge, we can tell, we can actually be telling the wrong thing when we don't know the underlying cause.
So we need to know. The other one that's really common and is the biochemistry world's dream a couple of years ago is MTHFR.
Yes.
So MTHFR genetic testing is really common now, and it just means that your folate isn't particularly transported very well, is it? And we can get tested for that. So it might be that you're putting you can eat all the salad in the world, but if you've got a little SNP on that MTHFR gene, then you're not going to be using that folate efficiently. And folate's really important for thyroid health and thyroid hormone development.
Yes, and then you go the way of combining them all together. So that's the beauty of what especially you do, because it's fantastic how you could be able to help yourself, and then actually from your own experience to go out there and research, eat everything that is out there, actually challenge yourself, and then do more of actually what we do outside there, then help people like Rebecca. That's fantastic.
And we haven't even talked about leaky guts. I mean, gut permeability is huge. Look at that on Dr. Axe, that's a good resource. And we were going to talk about loads, but we got stuck on genetics, sorry. So that's our geek off.
Yeah, get in touch with us, we can always help.
Yeah, we're not really nutritious, are we? We're kind of like biochemical geeks.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Fantastic, lovely to chat to you. It was a pleasure.
Lovely to chat to you.
And thanks for help hearers for the opportunity. Really pleased.
Thank you.
Thank you, you two. That was some proper science action, which is never a bad thing. I hope that resonated with you guys at home, and how passionate they are, because at the end of the day, if you're going to be that passionate, you're going to want to help people, and you're going to make sure you get that job done, which is really, really important. And coming from background, I've learned lots today about this stuff, and my two killer questions are, how important is the thyroid to a human being? In essence, how important is it in the body? And also, what are the signs? What are the signs that there is a problem with it? They're the two killer things I'd love to maybe cover just to finish up here today. So if we just all interject, we'll start with you on this one.
Also, the thyroid importance for the metabolism, the importance for growth, and the importance for the development. And if we don't have them, we might have some issues with like growth hormone, how children would be increasing, for example, or improving their IQ, things like that. So we might notice some slow development because of lack of iodine. In this case, an issue with the thyroid probably that we'd need to investigate.
I mean, I think of it as the thyroid has about 5 different hormones that it creates. T4, T3, T2, T1, T0, which we talked about briefly, and calcitonin, which kind of measures your calcium levels in the blood. Now, if you have a thyroid removed, or yours isn't working optimally, all those hormones are not being put into the bloodstream, and particularly T3. T3 enters every single cell in the body. It's the energy source. If you think of it like a battery, and every single cell that's floating around is a little bit T3. And if you haven't got that coming through your thyroid, or you haven't got a thyroid, then you're pretty much stuffed. And the way that I like to describe it, the ultimate thyroid feeling is walking up a hill through treacle in lead boots. You just, it's not, oh, I'm a bit, you're a bit tired. No, it's proper full-on fatigue.
Unremitting tiredness.
You can't do anything. Your brain doesn't work very well. You're in this kind of a fog. You forget everything. You can't deal with any stresses, external stresses, because your adrenals are a huge part of that. That fight or flight response is powered by the thyroid. So it's just
it feels like you're under attack the whole time, isn't it?
Yeah, like you're in a constant hyper state of something's going to attack me, but at the same time, so your brain is a little bit wired, but your body's like, nah, can't do anything about it. So you're in this constant state of flux. Plus your hair falls out,
eyebrows,
your eyebrows,
eyelashes,
your skin, particularly in the shins, are really, really dry. Your skin dries out. And when you look at all the symptoms together, and the doctors, bless them, they will go, fatigue, constipation, weight gain, hair loss, dry skin is the classic thyroid thing.
Yeah.
If you're underactive, if you're overactive, there'll be, you're like spinning. So everything, you'll get ill quickly because all the nutrients are being used up really quickly.
Yes.
But if you look at thyroiduk.org's website and click on symptoms, hundreds.
Yes.
And you can see that T3 going into those cells, if that isn't happening, it's going to create everything, every symptom everywhere.
Just like a domino effect, isn't it?
It is,
Actual
literally.
domino
It is
effect.
literally.
Yeah.
And is that how I know that's how I felt.
Yes.
And a lot of my mental health was affected
I mean, your
greatly.
mental acuity is just gone. I mean, I can only describe it as, in a sense, having worked with the elderly for so many years, is that it is literally being like a sort of young person's dementia, because stupid little things, you go to do something, but by the time you've got to the kitchen, you've forgotten what you were going there for.
And people say that, I do that all the time. Yeah,
but this is all the time. This is at a
all the
whole
time.
different level.
And there's a lot of talk about word loss.
Yes.
People say, I forget words all the time. No, this
is at a different
you're
level.
looking for a word in your brain, but you can't find it, and no one talks about that very much. And also
No.
the pain of thyroid disease. We're very achy. There's lots of joint pain,
lots
of
of
muscle
joint
pain.
pains, and you either can't sleep or you just can't sleep enough.
Yeah.
But however much sleep you have isn't restorative. I mean, it's really sort of not dissimilar to chronic fatigue, and maybe there's a parallel between the two somewhere, because I think the thyroid, because it controls absolutely everything. You sit in the bath and you watch your hair falling out, then you're sort of plucking your eyebrows, but they're not coming out in singles, they're coming out in clumps. And then you wake up one day and you find you've got one eyebrow, and you think, oh, okay, this is a bit random. Okay, well, we'll just sort of, take the other one off and even it up, and then you go and ask why it's happening. And it's just those symptoms, but there's a whole collection of symptoms, and you don't necessarily know what they are, and you can't pin it on one thing. And of course, you haven't got the time to sort of work out what it is.
No.
And it's only when it comes back and it's like, oh, it's your thyroid. You think, okay, and then of course you think, oh, well, one little tablet, put it all right.
They give you a tablet and off you go.
Yeah, and it doesn't. The symptoms are still there, but you just learn to manage them better, I think.
Yeah, because I was never diagnosed with any thyroid problems, but I do have those extremities, the very cold feet and hands, and similar, I would say, symptoms that, and then it's so hard for us to go then sometimes diagnose with the system that we have out there that obviously, because everything's expensive, because there are so many possibilities, it's very hard for the national health system to keep up just trying to sort with symptoms that are very common out there. But when you so it's very important, I think, as well for us that probably, I think I have this and that, and matching them, and possibly going to the website and checking, there is a possibility, so I might go and look for help.
Yeah.
There's a great app now called the Butterfly Diary. Have you come across that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you need to look at that, the Butterfly Diary, and it's in a testing stage at the moment, but it's going to. I think it comes live next year, and you have an app, and it will track all of your thyroid meds and your symptoms,
so I'll know
when it needs to be adjusted or remind you to go to.
Because it does need to be adjusted. If you think about it, it's our energy source, isn't it? And we need more energy at certain times of the year. So I end up adjusting mine slightly in the winter because I'm cold, so I need more energy. And the other thing, going back to your point about diagnosis, and we have this system, and I go back to my tips, is always get your blood results printed out. Do not phone them and let them tell you that they're satisfactory, because their satisfactory is very different to us working as complementary therapists. And I mean, you're a classic case, Becca, aren't you? Because your TSH was at something like 4.
It was 4.85.
4.85. So that would have been written off as, it's all right, you're borderline, we'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
For me, that's way too high. And I have been working with the fabulous Roderick Lane doing the conference and everything. He works from 1.2. If you're anything above 1.2 for your TSH, your thyroid is not very happy. So you can optimise it, and optimisation, you're taking from the tips I talked about earlier, but also go see somebody, maximise your thyroid output. you know, get gemmed up on it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope this has been super useful to people at home, because I don't think people talk about it enough, and I think we've really got into it today, and hope this resonates. There's some links below in this video for some resources you can reach out to, and obviously Jules can be there for you if you need her as well. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, Becca, for coming on and telling your story.
That's all right.
Before we go, Gillian and Annalisa, just want to let the audience know at home where they can find you online for your services.
Oh yes, I'm online. Just look up Feet First Limited, Gillian Clancy, and the website's coming soon. Watch this space.
Brilliant.
So yes, you can find me online on annaritanutrition.com and Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And Jules, just want to let the guys know this kind of here.
Thethyroidexpert.com.
There we go.
There you go. It's that simple.
That's simple.
So,
And I think this is the finale of the series, so thank you everyone for watching for the series, and I think this was a great place to wrap up. So by sharing this video, liking it, subscribing to our channel, spreading the World Health Heroes message can allow us to reach people most in need who otherwise couldn't afford these amazing services. These are the people we need to reach out to who are isolated right now. So any promotion of us would be really, really grateful. Thank you for watching this series. Thank you everybody today, and we will see you for series 2. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.